What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome here if you are new. This is going to be part 3 of this series that I'm doing where I talk about everything pregnancy. In this video we're going to be talking about postpartum care and postpartum recovery. So as you can see in this video, we are still working on this room, but it is making progress. And you're just going to see me do a lot of laundry. If you saw my part 2, in part 2, I washed and dried a bunch of loads of laundry. So that's what I'm going to be folding and putting away in this video. To be honest, you guys, this took me probably 2 days in total, just folding everything and then putting everything away on the second day. So kind of ridiculous, but it's okay. If you know how it is, baby clothes is so tedious to do laundry for because it's a lot of small little pieces of clothing. So it's a little annoying, but it is what it is. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the Q&A portion of the postpartum care and postpartum recovery. So pretty much once you give birth, after baby is delivered, they're going to want you to go to the bathroom. So you have to get up off the bed within about 45 minutes or at 45 minutes and go use the bathroom. It is a little bit painful. It kind of just depends. They usually provide you with a peri bottle, which is just a bottle that they fill with water. It kind of helps if you squirt the bottle on yourself while you are urinating, so that it doesn't hurt as much. So the cooling sensation kind of assists with the burning and the pain. Definitely make sure that you urinate as much as you can while you're in the hospital and even when you get home, just because what happens is when the bladder is full of urine, the uterus cannot contract down to its pre-pregnancy size, and that's what the uterus is trying to do after you give birth. So you're going to feel some cramping. Sometimes it's mild, sometimes it's very extreme. Probably feels like menstrual cramps. That's the best way I can explain it. And that's just the uterus contracting down to its original size. If you are breastfeeding, your uterus will contract much quicker. So you will actually feel it more if you are breastfeeding. But if you don't urinate, the uterus is unable to shrink down to its size because the bladder is full of urine. So definitely make sure that you are urinating as often as you can. And it also helps so that the bleeding goes away quicker. If you keep the urine in your bladder and the uterus cannot shrink down, the uterus will stay full of blood. So the more you pee, essentially, the less blood you will have over time. So let's talk about the bleeding. So typically it takes about 6 weeks of bleeding after you give birth. With my first delivery, it actually took me the full 6 weeks. I was spotting by like week 6. You're not supposed to be bleeding like heavy the whole time. You will see it kind of fluctuate. It'll go from like really heavy and get lighter, and then there's going to be a point where it's just spotting. When you're spotting, you're kind of coming to the end of the bleeding. Now, I spotted up until the 6th week, probably because I had stitches still. My stitches took 9 weeks to dissolve, so that was kind of a pain. But if you don't have stitches, then you may stop bleeding sooner. Also, like I said, make sure that you are peeing often because that will help the bleeding subside sooner as well. But with my second delivery, I actually stopped bleeding at like 2.5 weeks. I am not sure why that is. I did have both of these 2 kids 1 year apart exactly. So, maybe like my body was not fully healed. But yeah, to my surprise, I only bled for about 2.5 weeks. So every pregnancy is different. So just keep that in mind. If someone is like, oh, you're bleeding for too long, definitely don't compare your the length of the time that you bleed to other people or between pregnancies if you have multiple kids, because every single pregnancy is different. What else? So for stretch marks, I definitely have a lot of stretch marks, and personally I have not really found anything that works the best or even works that good to help with the stretch marks. But the only thing that I can say actually helps with minimizing like the look of, like if you have pink or purple colored stretch marks, and helps with the itching, is aloe vera. Just raw aloe vera. You can probably find this if you have like a Bravo, like a Hispanic food store, or if you have like a Caribbean super center. They usually sell aloe vera leaves, or they actually slice the aloe vera leaves for you, and they just have the raw aloe and they put it in these little plastic containers, and you can just buy it already sliced for you. Usually it's in the produce section, so definitely try that. I definitely don't see stuff like that at Walmart or anything, so you may have to go to either like your, like I said, your Hispanic like a supermarket, or even if you have an aloe vera plant, you can definitely use that too. So you would just take the raw aloe vera, you want to smush it up. It's going to be very slimy, and you just apply it to wherever you have the stretch marks. And it helps with itching almost immediately. It may itch you at the beginning because you're applying the aloe vera to damaged skin, but eventually it's more soothing. So that's the only thing that has helped me with my stretch marks. Personally, my stretch marks never went away. I did, like I said, have 2 kids back to back. So between those 2 kids, that was a lot of stretch marks. And, once the skin is ripped like that, it's very hard to get it back to how it was. Most of the time, it doesn't go back to how it was. So all we can do is just minimize what it looks like. Personally, my stretch marks don't bother me. But they are quite, there. Everybody can definitely see them. But this is a completely normal process with gaining weight and carrying a baby. So, yes, so like my stretch marks, for example, are like on my stomach. I have some on my arms because I gained weight everywhere, and all over my thighs. So, that's something to just make a note of, that this is normal, and try not to beat yourself up on it. Just over time, as the years go by, your stretch marks do start to look less obvious, whether you put any lotions on them or not. So something that helped me out when I came home after I delivered my second baby was following the 5-5-5 rule. So that is 5 days in bed, 5 days on the bed, and 5 days around the bed. Essentially what that means is the initial 5 days, you want to be laying down most of the time and just getting up and going to the bathroom, eating, laying back down. The second set of 5 days, which is on the bed, means, you can definitely sit up, move around a little bit, but try to still not do anything, just relax and sit on the bed. If you do get up, you're close to your bed so that you can just sit down if you're starting to feel fatigued. And then the last 5 days, which reaches the 15-day period, is around the bed. So, get up, get off the bed, move around your room, pick up, clean up if you want to, but, do little things that you are capable of doing. And that helped me so much faster to recovery. With my first delivery, as soon as I came home, I started cleaning and cooking and doing laundry. And I guess I thought, like, it doesn't hurt me that bad, like I'm capable. And I kind of pushed myself, and it actually made me bleed more. And I noticed that I bled for a lot longer. So keep in mind, you have literally a plate-sized wound in your uterus after you give birth. So you need to make sure that heals. And if you are doing the most, that is not going to heal. So definitely give yourself the time to lay down. If you need to ask for help, definitely ask for help. If you maybe have like a mom, a sister, an aunt, cousin, your spouse, whoever it is that's going to be helping you, definitely take advantage of that while you can. If nobody's going to help you and maybe you're doing this by yourself, I would definitely recommend getting either it could be like a pregnancy belt or a postpartum recovery belt. I wouldn't necessarily say like a waist trainer, just because those tend to be super, super tight, and you definitely don't want it to be that tight either, because it can make you uncomfortable and possibly hurt you. So those like postpartum belts or pregnancy belts help support the abdomen. So if you are going to be walking around, you can wear one of those to get some extra support if you are bending down or picking up. Maybe you have another child that you need to pick up. And, those things will essentially add to the bleeding process. So definitely get one of those if once you get home, you are going to be doing a lot of physical labor and physical things. Make sure that you do not, I repeat, you guys, do not do anything, have any sexual intercourse before the 6 weeks. Wait until your 6-week postpartum appointment for them to clear you. Sometimes the cervix is not completely closed at 6 weeks. You can get pregnant again, and it is not good for your body to go through that after just, having a baby. So make sure that you do wait as long as you can. But the 6 weeks is the minimum, and you definitely want to wait for them to clear you. Sometimes you are not completely healed. You are not, your stitches are not completely dissolved. You don't want to get an infection or reopen a wound, essentially. So, like in my case, my stitches did not dissolve until 9 weeks after I gave birth to my first baby. So that, for example, I cannot do anything prior to the 9 weeks because I still had stitches. So that's what I'm saying. You don't want to reopen a wound and maybe you're unaware of it. So definitely wait the 6 weeks if you can. Wait the 6 weeks. I knew somebody who did it before the 6 weeks. They had sexual intercourse. I think it was at 4 weeks postpartum, and she got pregnant. And so that baby was born less than a year later, and unfortunately that baby had a lot of issues. There was a lot of health issues going on with the baby, and she also had a lot of health issues going on at the time too, and it was a very high risk pregnancy, and it was just not a good situation for either of them. So definitely, try to pace yourself, give yourself time. These things, they will always be there. There's no rush to get to it. All right. So definitely make sure that you heal for the sake of yourself and for the sake of your baby. So let's also talk about breastfeeding. So breastfeeding, there's like a whole world of breastfeeding, you guys. So when it came to my situation, I breastfed my first child for a very long time. That baby was breastfed exclusively, but that baby did have a hard time latching, so I had to pump with a breast pump a lot of the time. And then I would put that milk in the bottle and I would give it to my baby. And whatever that baby didn't end up drinking, I would freeze if I was pumping more than the baby could eat, which happened both of those pregnancies because I am an overproducer. So if you are an overproducer, that's great. You can actually fill up your freezer with milk and have a stash of milk in advance. Or if you are somebody that either doesn't produce enough or doesn't produce at all, definitely don't get hung up on it, you guys, but do not also forget to supplement your baby with formula. If you notice that your baby is constantly fussy and trying to put their hands up to their mouth like they want to eat, or they're hungry and they're crying a lot, supplement formula. Do not be afraid to supplement formula. Don't think that you failed or anything like that just because you cannot produce breast milk. Actually, in the United States, majority of women cannot produce or don't produce enough. So don't beat yourself up for it. Just make sure that you are taking care of your baby, even if that means like, hey, it didn't work out. I didn't produce enough milk. But that shouldn't mean that your baby should go hungry just because you're trying. Obviously, keep trying. Eventually, the body does produce some milk. But for some women, it never comes in. And make sure you're supplementing formula in the meantime. For me, my milk came in 6 hours after I gave birth, which is very unheard of. All of the caretakers that I had in the hospital were very shocked at this as well. Usually it takes 5 to 6 days before your milk comes in. So, there's not really a one size fits all when it comes to milk production and how fast you can start to make it. my milk was already there because while I was pregnant, I was already leaking a lot of milk. So your body does start to produce some of that milk while you're pregnant, but this is not for everyone. So some people can't produce it while they're pregnant. In my case, I did with both of my pregnancies, and that's how I was able to breastfeed my kids. The second baby definitely had a latch. She latched on, no problem. And so in that case, I didn't need to pump it and put it in a bottle. I could just breastfeed the baby directly. It is extremely painful, but you will, eventually your body gets used to it. So that's when it comes to breastfeeding. I want to talk about steaming. So I am going to insert a clip in a second here where I show you the herbs that I used to steam. So this is either called V steaming or yoni steaming. Essentially what it is, it's a natural way to help reduce pain, swelling. It helps dissolve stitches, and it also helps you to expel that loss of blood that you're having. It kind of helps the body to expel it quicker. And it's pretty good for you. But this is kind of like trial and error thing. It doesn't work for everybody. But what it is just herbs that you put together, and you're going to use a 1 cup scoop. Put it in a pot, boil that pot with water on the stove, and then you're going to sit over that steaming pot and allow it to, the steam to come up into the perineum area, and it helps a lot. So this is the clip that I'm going to show you. I have 3 different types of herbs here. I have motherwort, I have rosemary, and I have calendula. So all of these you can buy off of Amazon in bulk. And all I did was open all of these and put them together in a jar, and I made a concoction, and I kind of just mixed it up. And there's like that 1 cup scoop, and that 1 cup scoop is all that you need, that you're gonna put in the pot, and you're gonna boil it until it comes to a steam. This steam is what is gonna rise up and help you help your skin and everything like that. So it kind of takes a while. You kind of have to sit there maybe 25-30 minutes. That's what I usually do. And as you can see, this is what it looks like all together. I have to shake it up so that it all mixes, but essentially that's how it looks. And you're just going to use a 1 cup scoop, like I said, and that is the perfect serving size for a a steam session. So yeah, definitely look into it on Amazon. On Amazon, they also have kits for it. So you can actually just buy a kit that comes with the bowl and comes with some herbs. But what I did was I steamed for several weeks towards the ending of my postpartum recovery. So by week 3, I would say you can start doing this. Don't do it right away just because the cervix is still really open. Definitely wait until the cervix is more closed, and then you can start steaming. So this actually helped me with inflammation. I was very swollen, and it definitely hurts to like walk around or to sit for too long. So I put like a aluminum basin in the bottom of my toilet, and then I poured that herb mixture and water. I just poured everything right into the basin, and then I sit on the toilet and I drape a towel around my waist area so that the steam can stay inside there and work in that area. If you just sit on top of it, the steam is still going to come up out of the toilet and then leave. So then it's not really going to be working. So definitely drape. You can, if you wear like a robe, you can wear like a robe, or you can drape a towel around you. And that works pretty well. So I actually didn't buy a kit or anything extra. I just used what I had at home. And that helped me out a lot. After you're done, you can just tip the basin and dump everything directly into the toilet and just flush it. It's herbs, so nothing is going to, destroy the environment or anything like that. You don't have to be worried about like flushing it down the toilet. So yes, that helped me out tremendously. Like I said, check it out on Amazon, and there is videos on YouTube that you can look up. So it's either called V Steam or Yoni Steam. It's spelled Yoni Steam. There's videos on YouTube that you can learn more about it. It's hit or miss. Some people say they feel no difference, but with me, I can say that this definitely helped. It's a more natural way to help with, inflammation and pain and all of that. I don't like taking a lot of medicine, like a lot of pills. It's just not good for your kidney and your liver and stuff like that over time. Your body is already trying to recover, and then you're giving it more pills, So this is why I opted for this natural way, and it ended up working. So if that's something you want to try, definitely try it out. And if it works for you, let me know how it goes. Leave a comment if you tried it and it worked for you. I told my doctor, my OBGYN, that I had done this and that it worked for me, and she was actually shocked because she had never heard of it before. And she said she was going to definitely let other people know, since it's something that is more natural, and a lot of people do like to opt for a natural way opposed to taking a lot of modern medicines. So definitely let me know how it goes if you do decide to do it. Something else that I want to talk about is what you will need for your postpartum recovery. So, this doesn't pertain if you had a C-section, just because I'm not entirely sure of the recovery for a C-section. I know it's a more difficult recovery and more painful, but I believe they do have you cleaning the wound site and all of that with maybe iodine or something that they give you. I did not have to do that because I gave birth naturally, so I did not have a C-section. So essentially, there is like kits. If you look online on Amazon, there's like postpartum recovery kits. They usually come with cooling pads for the perineum area. They come with some wipes and a peri bottle, and sometimes they even come with like a gown that you can wear in the hospital. So in the hospital, they give you majority of this stuff, and that's why I didn't buy any postpartum recovery kit. I just used everything they gave me in the hospital, and that was all I ended up needing. So in the hospital, of course, they give you a gown. Yes, it may not be the most comfortable or the most pretty looking, but are you going to use a gown just one time and then throw it out anyway? So I ended up just using what they gave me. So I used the delivery gown, and then they give you clean gowns after you deliver your baby anyway. So I took advantage and I used all of them. And then they provide you a peri bottle in the hospital. It's just a straight bottle that you squirt onto yourself to clean yourself, since you cannot rub that area or use any soap or anything in that area. You're just going to use plain old water. I still use the peri bottle even now. It helps out a lot. So if I just want to freshen up down there, then I will just go ahead and use the peri bottle. But yes, you are free to take it home. If you don't take it home, they throw this stuff out. So definitely take home the diapers that they provide you, the wipes that they provide you. The hospital that I was at for the first delivery, they actually didn't even provide baby wipes for the babies, and that was terrible. Like, you don't want to be wiping your baby with like a dry, piece of like paper towel or toilet paper or something. So they didn't even provide baby wipes. So bring your own just in case, but definitely don't use it, or let them know if you have it, because they sometimes do provide it to you and you can take that home. You never have enough wipes, so take advantage of that. But yes, wipes, diapers, and all the stuff that they provide for you. So they're going to give you either pads that you can wear for the bleeding, or the adult diapers. Personally, the adult diapers are way more comfortable. So if you run out once you are discharged and you're at home, definitely opt for the adult diapers. It catches a lot more blood, and it just holds everything together better. So I prefer the adult diapers. They're way more comfortable than the pads. But yes, definitely I would say just maybe stack up on one pack of pads or diapers, whichever you're gonna use, maybe one small pack of both. So you're gonna definitely need maxi pads with the wings, because it's a lot of blood that you're gonna be bleeding. Or like I said, the adult diapers, that usually does the trick, and you just wear that and then your pants over it. You don't have to wear anything else. So yeah, definitely stock up on that. Just maybe one pack of each to see how you like it. You can always buy more after the fact, but definitely don't spend so much money on like these postpartum recovery kits. You definitely don't end up using everything in there. I think some people do, but personally, I didn't. The hospital gave me the perineum cooling pads, and I didn't even like the way that they felt because the cold sensation actually made my skin hurt more. They say that the cold is supposed to help bring down inflammation, but in my case, it felt better when I just didn't put anything on that area. So, they also provide you with these witch hazel round pads. So it's just a little round swab that's soaked in witch hazel, and that helps reduce swelling and itching. Those I definitely took advantage of, and those actually I still have some, and they still help out tremendously. So use that. Something else that's important is taking your own medications. Usually the hospital will provide you with medication, but just in case, the second time I delivered, I went to a different hospital, and at this hospital, they didn't provide me any medication. And they were supposed to, but the nurses were just so busy that they were forgetting to check in on the patients. So I only saw a nurse one time in a whole day, and you're supposed to be seeing a nurse regularly throughout the hours as they go throughout the day. The nurses do switch shifts, but I still didn't even get a nurse to bring me medication. So the two medications that I took with me were stool softener 100 milligram and ibuprofen 800 milligram, just to manage the pain. Definitely take stool softener so that you are not pushing if you do end up constipated. Sometimes because you're so swollen, you end up constipated after you give birth. So take advantage and take the stool softener. I would say right after you deliver, take a stool softener. So that you're not finding yourself pushing and straining. That can actually make you bleed more, and it can make you more swollen. Continue to take your stool softener once you're home and you're discharged, so that it can keep everything soft for the following weeks. But yeah, you guys, let me know if you guys have any other questions for postpartum recovery. It's pretty smooth sailing from there and self-explanatory. Those are like the most important things that I can recall off the top of my head. But if there's anything that I didn't touch on or that you're curious about, definitely leave it in the comments below, and I can definitely answer your question in the comments, or I will answer it in my next video. So stay tuned for that video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or share this with somebody who is maybe about to give birth soon. And I will be seeing you guys in my next video. All right, you guys, take care. Bye, guys.